On average, we spend about 1,000 hours every single year just scrolling on social media. Doesn't that seem like an absolute crazy number? If you do the math, that actually only equates to about 2.5 hours a day, which was the global social media usage average of 2023. Now imagine if you had used those 1,000 hours on something else. You could have read 51 books last year that are 700 pages long. You could have developed 50 new skills based on the 20-hour rule, or you could have done a 2.5-hour long workout every single day for the entire year. And that is just one single poor habit that is wasting our time. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 time-wasting habits that are eating into our daily productivity and how you can easily unlearn them. The first habit that you want to get rid of is endless scrolling. On average, people spend about 2 hours and 24 minutes every single day just on social media. If you own an iPhone and you want to see how much time you're actually spending on social media, they actually give you all of the data so that you can be more aware of what you do with your time. Because of the way social media is designed, it's literally created to draw us back in, give us those immediate dopamine hits, and make us feel like, okay, maybe if I just keep scrolling for a little bit, I will reach the end. But since social media platforms moved away from that chronological timeline, you can pretty much never reach the end anymore. Gone are the times that we were able to say, hey, I looked at all the posts that were posted today, I'm good. So if you're still chasing for that feeling of, okay, I am up to date with everything that's going on social media today, forget about it because it's never gonna happen. I recently discovered this app called 1sec, which I think is the perfect app to help you break that scrolling habit. Essentially what the app does is it puts a loading screen between you opening the app and actually being able to access the app, and it forces you to take several seconds of deep breathing before you can actually access the content that you're trying to access. Using social media is so ingrained in our daily lives now that sometimes we don't even realize what we're doing until 4 hours have gone by and we have been watching TikTok videos over and over. And most of the time, it's just that initial habit of opening the app and scrolling that we need to get rid of. So when you use an app like 1sec, those 5 seconds it takes for you to actually get into the app gives you that opportunity to actually think about, hey, should I be doing this right now? Is this an effective use of my time? So if doom scrolling is a thing that you think is taking up the majority of your time, definitely check out 1sec. I've been testing it personally and have been really enjoying it. The second habit that we can unlearn to actually make our lives more productive is to stop unintentionally consuming content. By unintentionally consuming content, what I mean is we are just going on social media and scrolling through the main feed. Okay, I am a marketer and a content creator, so technically it is work when I'm scrolling through YouTube, on TikTok, and on Instagram, but there was definitely a portion in my life where I was just kind of using that as an excuse to scroll more. So if you do work in marketing or do any type of work where scrolling through social media is considered market research, to more intentionally consume that content, I want you to start really making sure that you are searching up for the keywords that you should be looking for and changing your mindset so that every piece of content you look at, you quickly decide whether this is actually helpful to you or not. Since I started to think this way and use social media as more of an idea bank than a form of entertainment, I found that it's really helped me make sure that I am closing the app as soon as I have gathered the information that I need. So as I'm scrolling through TikTok, for example, I'll quickly scroll past the videos that I think are unrelated to me, and for the ones that I want to save down for inspiration or as a title idea or as a video idea, I will add them to my Notion, and then once I have a couple of videos saved, I will just close the app. The other way that you can more intentionally consume content is to decide what productive or efficient content really is to you. So are watching cat videos online really that productive to what you do in life, the goals that you want to accomplish, or your career? Unless you run an animal business, probably not, I would assume, but maybe intentional content looks like training your algorithm to give you productivity tips or career tips, or training your algorithm to give you small business ideas. The thing about the algorithm is that yes, it's feeding you content that it thinks that you want to see, but you can also tell it what you want to see. So if you find yourself craving a little bit of social media scrolling, look up hashtags, look up keywords, go on YouTube instead, because longer form content is going to help train your brain to be able to focus on something for longer. But just search up things that actually feel productive to you. Other longer form pieces of content that I've started to identify as productive or intentional content are articles from some of my favorite media sources like The Cut or The Atlantic or The New Yorker. Again, not only will reading long form content help to train your focus, but typically these larger media outlets will have more educational pieces for you to consume instead. So pick a media outlet that you really enjoy and subscribe to that media outlet, and use that paid subscription as kind of an accountability thing. So when you're opening up Instagram and you're just craving some information, switch to the Atlantic app or the New Yorker app instead, and choose to be a little bit more intentional with what content you are consuming. The third bad habit that we can get rid of that'll really help us boost our productivity is not letting yourself lose track of time. If you often find yourself just like dilly-dallying through your day and suddenly realizing that half the day is gone and you have no idea what you have accomplished, it's probably because you aren't actually being aware of your time. This was actually something that I recently talked to my therapist about, because it was just this phenomenon that I was realizing that time was passing me by so quickly. And although, yes, I can identify what I accomplished during a month, 2 months, 3 months, but at the same time, it feels like I'm just blinking and 6 months have gone by and I haven't caught up with a friend, or I haven't picked back up a hobby. And it was really starting to freak me out. I think the problem really was that I just wasn't being aware of my time. And one thing that I've implemented into my life that has really helped with this is using an automatic time tracker. I know there are tons of time trackers out there where you can manually start a timer, input what you're doing, and then stop the timer when you're done. But I've tried so many of those and I just couldn't get in the habit of actually starting the timer. The incentive wasn't high enough for me to want to track my time in that way until I found Time Meter. I actually found this through Set App, which is this single subscription that gives you access to tons of different software. So if you're somebody who constantly likes to try new apps, new tech, new tools, then I would definitely recommend checking out Set App. Time Meter is one of the apps that is included in the Set App subscription. You can access it both on your MacBook as well as on your iPhone. But what I love about it is that it actually gives you automatic time tracking on your MacBook. So once you have it set up, it will automatically track all the things that you are doing in a day. And then you just have to review all of those things at the end of the day and tell it. So I was using Premiere Pro because I was editing a YouTube video, and then I was using Browser, and it'll actually tell you like what pages you're on, but I was using Browser on this page because I was doing research for a YouTube video. And if you don't have time to review it at the end of every single day, you can kind of review it over the span of a week or at the end of the month. But by now, I've actually just included like a Time Meter review time block of like 10 minutes or 5 minutes at the end of my day, because to me, I think it's really important that we know exactly how we spent our day. Once you have this very clear idea of all the things that you've done on your computer in a day and how you actually spent your time, it really puts things into perspective. Suddenly I'm questioning, like, did I need to be on a 3-hour call? Like, what was the purpose of that call? And can I change the structure of that call to make it shorter? Or did I really need to be on YouTube for 2 hours doing research and then getting kind of caught in a rabbit hole of watching videos? It almost feels like a bit of a wake-up call when you can see all of the things that you did in a day tracked for you. And seeing that data will really be the catalyst to you getting rid of the habit of losing track of your time. The fourth habit that we need to get rid of immediately is thinking of your endless to-do list as your daily to-do list. I can't be the only one who literally has what seems like an endless to-do list. Between my 9 to 5, my content creation business, and my workspace goods business, there are always going to be new things that I can do to help improve any of these three businesses. In your 9 to 5, yes, you have sort of like a set amount of tasks that you can do every day, but if you actually think about it, there are infinite ways that you can help grow your career, the company that you work for, to improve team dynamics, and that to-do list of improving either your career or the company that you work for really truly is endless. So being able to shift your mindset to not think of that endless to-do list as stuff that you need to do every single day will help you prevent burnout and overwhelm and actually make you more productive in the long term. The way that I have shifted my mindset around this is actually by learning how to prioritize. At first, when I was trying to build this habit, it felt so counterproductive because I have this list of, let's say, like 100 things that I know I need to do or that I want to do, but you're telling me that I should only work on 3 of those tasks every day. Like, how am I ever gonna finish this to-do list? The point of this exercise is that you are never going to finish an endless to-do list because it's endless. So instead of stressing yourself out every single day trying to do the impossible, decide what are the 3 most mission critical things that you can do that day that will help grow your company, learn a new skill, develop your career, and focus on finishing just those 3 things first. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do more than that, but when you're able to focus on the most important high priority tasks, it's actually a much more productive way to spend your time than trying to accomplish 10 different tasks and having new tasks sort of slot itself in the middle of the day. Because oftentimes when we aren't in control of our schedule like that, we end up just doing a lot of low priority, low growth tasks. And when we review our day at the end of the day or at the end of a week, those days will feel like you have accomplished absolutely nothing. There's tons of different tools out there that can help you visually identify what tasks you want to accomplish. In Notion, I would create a separate column that is called priority and make it a single select property. So with every task that you create, you can decide, is this low priority, medium priority, or high priority? And that way, when you look at your overall task board, you can quickly see what tasks you need to accomplish. You could even do this in a very timely manner and just review your to-do list in the morning of each day and just pick 3 items to tag as high priority. That way, you know exactly what tasks you should do that day, and then if you have time, you can focus on a few other ones after that. There's also tons of really beautiful to-do list apps like Todoist, like Quarter Plan. You can also do this in your notes, so just review your overall task list and then select 3 tasks to just add to your notes in a to-do list. There's even apps like Good Tasks, which actually syncs to your iPhone's reminders list so that you can set alerts and alarms to remind yourself what you need to be doing throughout the day. If you're more of a pen and paper kind of girl, I really like the Hobonichi planners because it actually allows you to put 5 things to focus on at the very top of the page. So if you look at the planner, it'll show you 5 checkboxes at the top of the page and then space underneath to write more. So I use this to list out the 3 to 5 most important tasks that I want to do. And then if I have any notes about them or if I have other tasks I want to accomplish, then I just put them underneath. Essentially, the visual aspect that you want to create is separation between your prioritized tasks and your lower priority tasks. I find that as a visual learner, having those tasks separated instantly makes me realize what is important and want to work more on those high priority tasks. The 5th and final bad habit that we can get rid of to boost our productivity is to eliminate decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is essentially the idea that after making many decisions throughout your day, your ability to make decisions decreases over the course of the day. We are constantly making decisions throughout our day, whether or not we realize it. In the morning, morning, we decide, okay, am I gonna put on moisturizer or not? Am I gonna brush my teeth or not? What shirt am I going to wear? A lot of these decisions are obviously autopilot by now, but it doesn't mean that your brain isn't subconsciously thinking about these things. So if we have all of these autopilot decisions going on in our heads, but then we're also making decisions around projects at work, what we want to learn that day, how much time we want to dedicate to learning, to the gym, we're essentially quickly burning ourselves out and losing the ability to actually make decisions that are important. To eliminate decision fatigue, the best way to do it is actually to plan out your day in a schedule by using the time blocking method. I've talked about the time blocking method over and over and over on this channel because it is just something that I absolutely swear by. What time blocking really is taking a calendar and splitting everything that you want to get done that day into time blocks. So that is including your 3 meals a day, having coffee, your breaks, your walks, as well as all of those work or school tasks that you want to complete. So what your calendar might look like is something like this, where there are no gaps in your calendar between the different time blocks that you have created. The reason you want to leave no gaps is because every time you have a gap, you have to make a decision about what you want to do in that gap. Now, I'm not saying that you are married to your schedule and that you can't be flexible with your schedule when needed, but when you create some structure in your day-to-day routine and actually decide beforehand what you want to do with your time, it's going to eliminate that need for a decision to be made when each hour of the day comes. As you're time blocking, it's important to consider things like your circadian rhythm as well, because every single person has a specific couple of time frames in their day where they are performing the best. You can Google what the most typical peak performance time frames are for people, but for me personally, I'm the most productive, or at least the most focused and able to be productive first thing in the morning and then in the late afternoon leading into the evening. So midday, I just find that I am not very productive. I'm going through that afternoon slump. And then typically after about 9 p.m., I'm like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to do work anymore. And my brain is no longer functioning. So use tools like this to your advantage and actually schedule out and plan out your day so that you are optimizing for when you have the most energy. You are not letting yourself make any additional unnecessary decisions throughout the day. Like even put in your calendar what you're going to wear the next day. The goal really is you want to make as little decisions as possible throughout the day so that you give yourself the room to make more important decisions when it actually comes to your business, your schooling, your career, or your work. So those are the 5 bad habits that we can get rid of today that is going to supercharge our productivity. You want to eliminate endless scrolling, unintentionally consuming content, losing track of time, thinking of your endless to-do list as your daily to-do list, and making too many decisions in a day. I hope this video was helpful and that it gives you some new tips and tricks and even some apps and tools for you to use to be more productive throughout your day. I am constantly trying to find new methods and systems and tools to use to make myself more productive and just be able to be more efficient with my time. So I'm going to continue to look for and research different methods as well as try them so that I can share them with you. If you have anything specific that you want me to try or your own tried and true methods, please comment and let us know so that we can all learn about them as well. If you want to connect with me outside of YouTube, I do have a Discord channel that I talk in every single day, as well as a newsletter that I write a lot of articles in. I also have all of my social media links linked in the description box below, along with the Discord and newsletter, so please make sure to go and check that out. But as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button because it would help me tremendously in trying to grow this channel. But other than that, I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!